January 5th, 2015. This is Horribly Off Topic with Chris and Steve.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome to the new year.
Yes, it's new. 5 days new, or 3 days new as we're recording this.
I was trying to make it like so you had to take down the fourth wall.
I had to take down the fourth.
Hey, we're recording on the 3rd.
It's 5 days new. It's 5 days new.
Whatever.
And we're both drinking, which is new for the show. I mean, I think we've had a couple episodes where
you've
been drinking, but I haven't been drinking on the show before.
Yeah, Chris has got a nice dark and stormy, all pre-mixed.
It's very good.
I got that for Christmas.
Liquor is a good Christmas gift. Yeah. I'm just going to throw that out there. I think that's where my brother went right over the past few years. My brother's Christmas gifts, just uniform, except for my girls, who are a little too young.
Obviously.
Yeah. And Steph, who doesn't drink. He would just buy liquor.
Steph doesn't drink at all?
No, it's a religious thing. She's a member of the Baha'i faith, and Baha'is don't drink. Or they're not supposed to.
I didn't know that.
She didn't talk about it much, which is... Yeah.
Well, it's not something people typically broadcast.
Yeah. So, I mean, she did drink a little in college. She had her bad girl phase, I suppose.
Well, everybody has that.
Yeah. The Amish go through a whole Rumspringa.
Yeah, I saw they had a thing on television. It was called like Breaking Amish. And it was just another one of those bad reality television shows where
are there good ones?
Well, I guess the original Real World.
Yeah, I agree.
Which
first three Real World. The third Real World actually got too real. That was the one that had
the guy who died of AIDS.
Yeah, Pedro.
Okay.
And then it was just like, well, fuck, we just got really real. Let's
make it fake.
Let's make it fake.
Well, and also it's more cost effective to do it the way they do it now. So basically, it was like, let's get a bunch of crazy fucking people. We'll put them in the house, and then we'll put them in situations.
Right.
We won't just sit there and tape them. We'll just tape the situations.
Exactly.
And then occasionally, they'll sit in the room and talk to the camera and be like, "Well, that was a crazy situation." And then it's just basically what I've heard referred to as assisted reality.
Assisted reality. Would you like to live in an assisted reality?
That would be cool, because then maybe the bad decisions I make in my life, I wouldn't be as responsible for.
You could just blame it on.
I could just blame it on the reality television show. Yeah.
And then
maybe I did listen to something once where there's a lot of people that think that there's some sort of Truman Show thing going on with them.
Yes.
And there's times where
you thought.
In fact, maybe last night and this morning,
where there was somebody.
I'm like, is there somebody?
Cam?
Yeah, is there somebody around that's just like, hey, I don't know. Is there maybe there'll be a thing on YouTube tomorrow of me just being like, what the fuck is happening?
Who would you have Ed Harris playing the showrunner in the Truman Show.
Did I talk about when I got back from Seattle?
I don't know.
When Mike was doing his little photoshops.
Yes, you did.
And then I had, because I was wearing my cap backwards, and I'm like, I look like Ed Harris from the Truman Show.
You did talk about
and
that.
Then he just did this Photoshop of like Ed Harris, who's just photoshopped on like this older fat man in the woods with his penis exposed, sitting on a log.
Nice. So Ed Harris runs the show in the Truman Show, is what I was gonna say. Who would you want to be the guy up in the moon controlling? Which showrunner, which director, if they were sort of the person in charge of your life?
Well, I would like somebody that
like Martin Scorsese.
I want somebody schmaltzy. I want I want schmaltz. I want like happy ending.
Okay.
And I want somebody that's going to do that.
Okay. So not Scorsese.
Somebody who did a rom-com. I want it's the exact opposite of what I would actually appreciate in film.
Yes.
Is what I'd want in my life.
In your life. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. I'm trying to think of the guy who directed the first 2 Harry Potter films, which are completely different in tone from the rest of them. I forget his name, and it will come to me when I'm doing the show notes.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
I can't think of
Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, I'd like Christopher Columbus. Oh, or what's his butt? He's dead now, but
oh yeah. 16 Candles.
Yeah.
That guy. John
Hughes. Yeah, I would like a John Hughes to direct my life.
I would like John Holmes to direct my life.
He wasn't a director. He was just a man with a large penis.
But he'd make.
Do you want his large penis to direct your life?
Yes, I want John Holmes' large penis to direct my life. My life, no, that's not true. My life is fine. But I think it would make for an interesting season of my life. You know, the Truman Show was 35 seasons. I think they were talking about.
That's how old I am now. But I've traveled to many countries, like one other than here.
Yeah. You've gone to Fiji.
No.
I mean, not Fiji, but your Fiji. You've gone to your Fiji.
Oh, that okay. It's been
Canada.
It's been a long time since I've been to. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen the Truman Show, and I don't think it's on Netflix or streaming.
It's streaming video service. In fact, I think it is on a streaming video.
If it's on the one
maybe
that
it was
I don't
on.
have,
It might. Yeah, you know what? It might have been on the
one that also is the bookseller. I don't have that one.
Yeah.
So that's probably the one it's on.
Yeah, probably. Well, I think I managed to see it recently on something I did have, and it had been years since I'd seen it. It still holds up as a pretty good film. I mean, it's dated to some extent, obviously, but it's still just as creepy and frightening as you would imagine it would be. All right, so John Hughes, Columbus.
Yeah, one of those guys that it's just going to be like, oh, and he, like, you know, he went through a bunch, but not like severe trauma.
Right.
Like, you know, he went through some trials and tribulations, but guess what? He gets the girl at the end, or
which girl? I mean, are we talking Molly Ringwald? Are we talking like which of John Hughes? Let's go with John Hughes here. I mean, we could go Chris Columbus. We want Chris Columbus. You could end up with
Hermione, like in the first movie.
No. I was going to say you could end up with like Elizabeth Shue, or like I think he did. I feel like he did Adventures in Babysitting. That might have been John Hughes.
I think it was John Hughes.
Yeah. All right. So I mean, you got a lot of choices. I mean, which John Hughes heroine do you want to sort of be?
Well, I don't know which John heroine smack. Who do I want? I have no idea.
Well, I mean, not Molly Ringwald now. Not that there's anything wrong with Molly Ringwald.
She's all right now.
But I mean, like, you know, she's probably a little old for you. No?
I think she's like, what, 10 years older than me?
Yeah, probably.
So not significantly. I mean, she's probably maybe approaching her 50s.
Yeah.
She's still in her 40s. I mean, I don't know. I guess I should open things up a little bit. Maybe I should date somebody in their 40s.
Maybe. Ali Sheedy? Did you go for Ali Sheedy?
Which one was she?
She was in the Breakfast Club. She was the dark-haired one.
The one that shook her dandruff on her arse.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Why not? Okay.
No, but I don't know. Who's the chick in Weird Science?
Yes, 100%.
Kelly LeBrock.
Kelly LeBrock. When I saw Weird Science, that was when I first wanted a computer. I'm just going to say. Like, I don't know if that was the way... Like, other people, they probably saw War Games. That's when they wanted a computer. I saw Weird Science. That's when I wanted a computer. I wanted a scanner because of Weird Science. Like,
scanner? So you could...
Scanner. Like, I mean, that's part of how they...
pictures.
Yeah. And, like, today, we're pretty close. I mean, you get a good 3D printer.
Which one? It was Wyatt and Gary.
Wyatt and Gary. Yeah, Gary.
Gary and Wyatt?
Gary and Wyatt.
Which one was the one that was loaded? Like, because, there was a lot of like.
That was a lot of computer equipment. It was.
Did my phone just make a noise, or was it yours?
My phone might have made a noise. I'm not sure.
Vibrate. Whatever. Why do I care? We're doing the show.
We're doing the show. Pay attention. No.
Sorry, it's been a weird couple of days.
Yeah. I don't know which one of them had the money. Gary, maybe. It might have been Wyatt.
With the brown hair kid, I think, was the one that had those loaded, and I think maybe Wyatt was probably his poorer friend.
Bill Paxton was his brother.
Yeah, and he was an asshole.
He was an asshole.
And he'd get turned into a shit monster.
He did. That was pretty good. I liked that. I had forgotten that Bill Paxton was a good villain until, spoilers, the second half of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1, where he plays a bad guy. But he's a pretty good bad guy. He's kind of nuts. But then I remembered Weird Science.
Weird.
Yes.
On Christmas, I remember Was it I or was it you that brought it up, or who brought it up?
Somebody brought up
Oingo Boingo.
Yeah,
which is Danny Elfman's band. Danny Elfman of made music for every Tim Burton movie fame.
Yes. I did not know that.
And he did. He originally, I believe, I might be wrong. Assholes that listen to us, email. Why am I calling them assholes? Thank you for listening. I'm just a little grouchy. Just had a very bad couple of days. I'm gonna keep on.
I think you're allowed.
What the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah, like
Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman, I believe he was the one that composed the theme to The Simpsons.
And I'm pretty sure you're right. And he was Burton's Batman's. So like that Batman theme that was throughout those 4 that came out in the that one.
That one is like very like, I mean it's dark but it's not like you associate it more with Batman than Elfman, which is good,
right?
Because you want that.
Yes.
But like almost everything else that Elfman has done, you're like, oh my god, that's Danny Elfman.
Danny
like
Elfman.
Beetlejuice, like you're like everything you hear in that movie, it's like, oh, that's Danny Elfman.
Yeah. Weird Science, man. That's just how did they get Kelly LeBrock out of that computer? That's what I mean.
You have to suspend your disbelief, Chris. It was a movie.
I know, but I want a reality in which that happens. I think that would be a good reality.
Well, they have that movie Her or whatever.
Yes.
And apparently, like, your brother and I were talking about it on the way to Canada.
Yes.
Or on the way back, I forget which. But they were, long drives.
Right.
So it's hard to distinguish whether I was traveling south or north.
Yeah.
And what is it? Scarlett Johansson is the voice. I mean, I get that, she's a good actress.
Yeah.
But, like, she was the person that you needed to be the voice of the robot. You never got to see. Did you see it?
I did not see it.
Okay, but like
you never get to see the voice.
I don't think you get to see her ever. No. And I'm like, I mean, am I being too shallow here in saying that
they could have found a different voice?
They could have found like an actual like voice actor, someone who does it for a living, and then that's what bothers me about all those goddamn cartoon movies that Disney does or whatever else does. They're like, oh, let's get a bunch of celebrities to do these voices. And I'm like, what about all these fucking voice actors that do this for a living?
Yeah, see, and that was definitely the Disney problem in the once you got past. Well, I feel like there were like 3 or 4 good Disney movies in a row in the very late 80s, very early 90s, and then they definitely went for like, let's get star power. I mean, Mel Gibson as John Smith in Pocahontas.
I didn't even see that one. But
well, I have 2 little girls. I've seen them all.
Was it like, good day, mate, I'm John Smith?
Probably.
That's my Australian accent.
It's been a while, but yeah, it probably sounded pretty similar. And they definitely went down that hole. I think they've done a little bit better recently with Frozen, with Wreck-It Ralph. I mean, Wreck-It Ralph, the voice actors there are so expressive. The dude who plays King Candy in Wreck-It Ralph, I think it's Alan Tudyk, I might be mispronouncing his name, does a spot-on impression of oh god, I'm gonna forget his name, the guy who used to be like big in the Disney movies in like our parents' age. He played the nutty uncle in Mary Poppins who sort of floats up into the ceiling. That guy.
I've never heard this actor before. Is he a voice actor?
The voice actor who does the impression for King Candy in Wreck-It Ralph doesn't sound anything like that.
Okay.
But he's just a really good.
But he's a voice actor, though.
Well, he's an actor, but he does.
I mean, there are people that cross like that.
Sarah Silverman's in that movie, and she does. She's not recognizable as Sarah Silverman.
I think she is, but
okay.
I mean, she's playing a little kid, but yeah, you could tell it's her.
And John C. Reilly is John C. Reilly, but it's good. I don't know. I liked Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, it was. I like the movie. I don't. Yeah. I don't dislike the fact that they. I mean, I don't dislike the choices that they made, but I don't know. I kind of, because like I watched that documentary on streaming video service. The one that's I know that voice, and basically the guy John DiMaggio, the guy that is the voice of Bender.
Okay.
is the director of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, these guys bust their ass
And don't get enough credit.
Yeah.
And they don't get enough work.
I mean, like, guys like, John DiMaggio and like folks like that, and
they get enough work.
And Billy West, but they get shitloads of work.
But the rest of their brethren or their cohorts.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd like to see,
That's a fair point. I don't know who's in the next the Disney Pixar movie Inside Out. I think is the next one coming up.
Is that that one the one with the things inside them?
Yeah, their voices emotions inside their head. Yeah.
I think Lewis Black is one of them.
That sounds right. Yeah, I'll have to look it up. It'll be in the show notes, which for this episode would be clarkwoods.com/hot/ probably.
I don't know this time.
I think you know what we might have done. It would help if I.
No, it is 23 because 21 was the one we did with Matt, and 22
yeah,
was
so
the
23. clarkwoods.com/hot/23.
Hooray!
Hooray!
We did a little process of elimination there.
That means that we're close to 6 months, like close to half a year.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a while now.
It's crazy.
And
lots of podcasts I'm listening to are doing their sort of New Year's, like look back at 2014, look forward at 2015.
Should we do that?
No, because everyone else is doing it.
Oh, come on. Let's look back at like the year
in horribly off topic.
No, but we already do that every episode. Hey, remember when we talked about that?
Yeah. I don't know. I hated 2014. 2014 was a shitty year.
I was good up until New Year's.
Well,
actually, no. Most of it was shit, and then the tail end of it was good. But then I got thrown a curveball.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. The beginning of the year, my grandmother was in the hospital, and then she was supposedly going to die, and she didn't. And then she was in a rehab where she didn't want to be. I think if she had her choice, she would have gone. She would have passed away at home. And there was just a lot of back and forth about like, is she okay? It's a matter of time, and that and the other thing. So the whole beginning of the year up through May was just consumed with that. In the late June, early July, I had a trip to Disney World, which was awesome. And then I got sick for like a good month.
And then we started doing this.
And this was good. This has been fun. So in a sense, like it's a tale of 2 years.
I'm trying to think of like the beginning of the year. This year was sort of a blur.
Yeah.
I don't know. I met some good people via, dating and doing
you did some stand-up.
Friend dating. Oh yeah, I did stand-up a lot this year, actually.
Especially in the early part.
The early part of this year, especially like January on until maybe about August, I did a bunch of gigs.
Right.
So yeah, I completely forgot about that. I kind of just pushed it out of my mind. The amazing amount of rejection that I had.
Yeah, well, that happens. So maybe it wasn't as bad a year as... Just had its bad moments.
Yeah.
Mine towards the middle, yours at the end.
Well, mine also in August. Remember my breakdown in August?
Yes, I do remember your breakdown in August. Which was the start of the show.
Yeah, this episode 2 was when I just broke down. So I was just so mad about that damn comedy contest. And then just another bad date happened. And it was just the one that broke the camel's back, and then... I don't know.
So you went to Canada again.
I did.
You're Fiji, as I was saying. You go to Canada a lot. No.
Well, in the past 3 years, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I've been 3 times in the last 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Well, technically, yeah, this is the 3rd year. But I wasn't here this year, so 2 years.
Wait, you weren't where this year?
I wasn't in Canada this year.
2015.
Yes.
Right. Yes. Okay.
But I was last year
when
we stayed until the 30th.
Gotcha.
So yeah, what is it? What the fuck? Oh yeah, 2013 I went to Montreal in the summer for the comedy festival.
Yeah.
And that was fun. That was a good time. Right. It was a lot warmer.
Yeah, I can imagine.
and then in what was it? September?
Something like that.
I went
September,
to visit a
October.
friend of the show. I don't remember if he was okay with us using his name.
I can't remember.
So I'm just going to avoid it. Went to visit friend of the show up there in Toronto.
Yeah.
Got to meet another friend of the show. I don't know if she's okay with me saying her name either.
I can't remember if we said her name.
Whatever. Another friend of the show.
Yeah, a female friend of the show.
Female friend of the show that I met in Canada who's a Canadian. And that was fun.
Yeah. And then you went this time with my brother.
Yes. He and I went up there. It was a long drive.
Yeah.
Border crossing wasn't bad. And it was just weird. I don't remember going that way. Maybe because I think I was following... Because like the last time I went up, I shut off my data at the border.
Yeah.
It went to Montreal. I shut off my data at the border, and I had like the not MapQuest, or what, like Google Maps directions or whatever, like in the car with me. So I just followed them.
You printed out something?
Yes, I know.
Oh my god!
I did it at work. Don't worry. It was at my old job, so
yeah.
My current job is going to be like, what?
What? Why was he printing
using
things?
Company money to print directions to Canada? So yeah, I used those directions to and luckily they weren't doing excessive amounts of construction.
Yeah.
In downtown at that time, because if they were, I would have been like, oh no, where do I go? And like the hotel I was staying at isn't the one that it's not called the same thing now.
Okay.
And so like we ended up staying at the Days Inn.
All right.
Your brother and I. It was a place like they keep on emailing me, and I'm like, fine, I'll do a review.
Yeah.
So I did a review, and I'm like, this place was a place to sleep.
That is ideally what they want you to say, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean I didn't give it 2 stars because I wasn't going to be that much of an ass, but I gave it 3.
It's a 3 out of
5.
3 out of 5. See, side tangent. I mean, not to get horribly off topic here.
Oh, geez.
Nothing should be 5-star system because everyone's gonna pick 3. Like people can't make a decision. They're gonna end up at 3, right in the middle of the road. It needs to be a 4-star system, and then somebody has to decide: is it above average or below average? They can't decide it's average.
Well, it was average.
Yeah,
but it wasn't. Well, like it was average in my eyes.
Yeah.
Like basically, if you were, well, what I said was, if you were looking for a nice place with nice amenities, this is not what you're looking for.
Right.
If you're looking for a place that has a bed and things that are falling apart in the room, including the bathroom. Oh, and in the bathroom, I don't know if your brother said anything about this.
No.
There was he took a shower first.
Yeah.
Was it the day we got there? I think he might have taken a shower after we got there just to freshen up.
Right.
But he got out of there and he was like, "Oh, check out the bathroom." I'm like, "Okay." And I thought he wrote something on it. But apparently somebody else did.
Oh.
And it was like 2 Nazi insignias.
Oh, wonderful.
And 666 in the middle.
Nice.
And it would not come off.
The Nazi devils.
No matter how much we like scrubbed the mirror, it would not.
It would not go away.
But it wasn't scratched into the glass. I don't know what the hell.
What they did?
Yeah.
Did it only show up when you'd just been in the shower? Like it's like a hidden message,
basically.
Hidden Nazi devil message.
And I'm like, what? And I'm like,
wow.
And I was like, did they leave this for us? Like
maybe
they thought we were like white power Satanists or something.
They had
like
some
that.
kind of an orgy in there. Did they bring all the strippers?
I don't know. Not all the strippers.
Not all the strippers. All the great strippers.
But yeah, we went to my normal haunt when I go there. Is Peel Pub.
Peel Pub.
It's the first bar I ever drank at in my life.
Really? I did not know that.
Because we went up there. I think it was Paul and some other folks. I don't know why it's okay for me to say Paul.
That's for the same reason it's okay to say
Leo
John.
or Bailey.
I don't know. It just is. We've decided Paul is okay to say.
Okay. But so yeah, it was we went up there, Paul and Will and I think Dan and some other folks. And that's where like we were taking the subway, and I think somebody, I don't know who it was that said it, but it was like, I don't need to take that kind of shit from Abraham Lincoln. Which I replied, 80 and bite me.
Okay. I like your conversations. They have
I don't know where that started.
I wish I could write dialogue that was that good that felt authentic. Because if I wrote that dialogue, somebody would say that nobody says things like that.
I do.
You do, and you're pals.
Yeah. So and then.
So you got drunk at the Peel Pub. How old were you?
Well, I didn't get drunk at the Peel. I think we just had
drank.
a couple, maybe 1 or 2 beers. And there was a Bruins Canadians game on, and
Gotcha.
we were going, woo, yeah. And they were like,
Not getting your ass kicked?
We didn't get our asses kicked.
Okay,
but,
good.
That might have been because we weren't drinking much. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, it was a fun little time.
Yeah.
Had my first legal, in quotes, I guess.
Right. Well, because you were legal there, if not
drink in my life. And that was at Peel Pub. So whenever I've gone to, actually, there might have been one time we didn't go to Peel Pub. Because like we went there for New Year's one year. Mm-hmm. And this made a tradition for. I think I'm really OCD.
That you had to go to Peel Pub. That's just
no, but like I keep on doing things like that are like just like
repetitive.
No, not necessarily repetitive, but things that I feel need to happen when I'm doing something. Like every time I've gone to Montreal, like since the time we went in for New Year's, I think I've listened to the Jackie the Joke Man Hot Dogs and Donuts CD. That's a plug for Jackie. I'll give it to him. And every time I've gone to Canada, to Montreal for that, I've listened to that CD.
Yeah,
and it's on my phone now. It's
right.
on my iTunes. But and this time was no exception. John was not as thrilled with it.
Not a fan.
Listening to someone tell the jokes that your father tells, only slightly better.
only slightly better. Yeah.
And yeah, so he was just like, meh. But yeah, I think. Well, I did.
Well, there's something to be said for comfort, for getting those things that make you feel. I don't know. Maybe it's OC. I don't know. I just think in general we have this tendency to not analyze, but under something.
I don't know. I'm trying to help you out by saying a word.
But overdiagnose ourselves with these medical problems that we probably don't even have. I still recall the people that I worked with at the comic book store when we were teenagers. Constantly calling me manic depressive boy. I don't think they had any fucking clue what manic depression was, and I certainly don't think that I am manic depressive. But still, to this day, if I have, like this morning, I was actually in a fairly, I guess, manic mood and very productive and whatever. Still find myself going, oh, because I'm having a good day, that means that a bad day is going to follow. Because of this tendency in our culture to sort of say, yep, he's manic depressive. Yep, he's OCD. Yep, he's got ADD. I think my brother has accused me over this winter break that he's been home of having ADD just because I've been playing a video game on my phone. I think partially he's teasing, but like the whole. I'm sorry, I've gotten off on a rant, but like the whole idea of just self-diagnosis of these problems,
So because
I don't think you're OCD.
I think I actually am because I don't know. I don't think I can be good at the job that I do without being a little OCD.
Okay. Right.
At least a little bit. And like I did, because, last night I was taking a personal inventory and trying to figure my brain out and what the hell's fucking going on.
Right.
And I took like some quiz online because
why not?
And then, it's like, oh, you have a lot of symptoms for major depressive disorder and also OCD. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just have, I think because I read a book once called the Hypochondriac's Guide to Life and Death, which I have since passed on to a friend, and I don't think she ever gave it back to me.
Either she never
or she
read
passed it on to someone else. No, I think she read it. And I think, the whole idea was somebody else had read it, then passed it on to me. I passed it on to her. So as long as it went on to someone else and it's not just sitting dusty on someone's shelf. It was a really good book, but a depressing book in the sense that this is a guy who had hypochondria, who thought he had everything. In the end, he finally did have cancer. And got really sick from it and recovered. But yeah, I mean, I think I get really sensitive about diagnosing myself because I do tend to think that I have everything that I read about.
See, I don't know. I used to be more of a hypochondriac as far as the medical stuff goes, but nowadays I'm just like, because I have the sniffles and I'm like, I'm not going to rush off to the doctor because I got a cold.
Right. Yeah.
It's just because the weather changed and now it's going to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or yesterday. So yeah, usually that's when I get sick because my body's like, it's a new thing going on. I'll just get sick to deal with it. And I'm like, well, fuck you.
Fuck you, body.
I'm going to go get another beer. Can you talk about something for
beers?
Do you want to change the subject?
Change the subject. Well, while you're getting the other beer, I will just say that what happened on my New Year's is exciting. You want to take a guess?
I would like to hear it.
Steve said he would like to hear it in case you didn't hear that.
I wasn't that far away.
You weren't that far away. We watched two parts of one of the greatest trilogies or quadrilogies, if you really want to get technical, of all time. We watched The Karate Kid and The Karate Kid Part 2. And we did take off from my parents' house before The Karate Kid Part 3 started.
Was it on television?
It was on television. It was
on a movie channel?
It was on Discovery Family, which I did not even know was a station. But Discovery Family was playing all of the Karate Kid movies back to back to back. At least the first three, not the fourth one, and not the new one, which had Will Smith's kid.
And Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
As a Japanese guy? I don't know, but
I think he was a Chinese guy. I don't know. Anyway, so we watched Karate Kid and Karate Kid Part 2, which is why I had Elizabeth Shue on the brain earlier when you were talking about... or when I was talking about which leading lady from John Hughes movies would you like to have, and of course my brother was there, and in the context of watching the movies, he and I got talking about the Karate Kid video game, which I remember being an awesome video game.
It was not an awesome.
But how? No, it was awesome. Please tell me why it was bad.
Well, I don't want to do a bad angry video game nerd and just regurgitate all the things that he said in his review of, which was actually very early on in the AVGN lexicon, which was
very nice vocabulary.
Thank you. It was the third one he did, I believe, and you can quote you.
I will link it in the show notes.
Yeah, link it in the show notes. The third one, it was just the gameplay was just piss poor.
Yeah,
it was unlikely that the game would be that bad because the license was done by Konami, I believe, which is a company that
did good games.
Yeah, they've done excellent games in the past, and it was just they had a. I guess just movie license games are just
bad.
Well,
bad news.
It's hard to make one. Maybe they just didn't have enough time, like they did with the E.T. game. They had maybe a couple of months to release.
Well,
it before
GoldenEye,
Christmas.
I think we talked about in the past. GoldenEye was famously a very good, or at least very popular.
I never was great at the first person shooter genre, so I didn't play it that much. Right. So I can't have much of an opinion on it.
Yeah.
But I've heard people say
it's possible to have a good one, and maybe it's in fact that if me from now were to go back and talk to 12-year-old me or however old I was when I played Karate Kid, 12-year-old me would want to smack me around because I think I probably sucked at the game, but it's one of the games that I could remember almost every stage that you went through as we were sitting.
I got to show you something. Cause
you got to show me something. Oh, that is an NES cartridge right here on our program.
So I got a whole bunch of my own Nintendo carts that I had at my house, and one of them is Goonies 2.
There was no Goonies 1.
No, well,
I mean, that was the movie.
I think there was a Goonies one. This is also made by Konami, which is what made me think of it.
Yeah.
And the game isn't bad, but like, were they planning on making a Goonies 2? But then like things just felt because like the plot is you have to like rescue all the other Goonies from being in like.
Are you playing Mikey?
You're playing Mikey, and you have to rescue all the other Goonies and a mermaid.
Okay.
And the nasty guys from the first movie,
the Fratellis,
the Fratelli gang, yeah, they're the bad guys that have kidnapped the mermaid, and all the other Goonies. So. Did
you ever see? I don't know if it was the 15th or the 20th anniversary. They did a. This was the DVD that I had. They did a video director's commentary. So it was like picture in picture, and it had the cast all sitting around, and they had everybody there, and Chunk was the thinnest dude on the panel. Like,
was he like jacked too?
He was not jacked, but no, he was just really thin. It was really, really odd, and it says to me that for the most part, child stars, I don't want to see what they look like today.
Well, because he doesn't look like... Well, he's not going to be a little fat kid anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, just like I just don't think...
He might be a big fat guy, or maybe he might have lost weight like he did.
Apparently, yeah. I don't know. I kind of want them to stay the way they were in my memory.
But you've seen like a bunch of the Goonies cast.
I have.
In the present time.
Yes, one of them was a Hobbit.
Yeah, one of them.
Another one is going to be Thanos.
Oh, I thought he already was Thanos.
Or he was Thanos. He was Thanos in Guardians of the Galaxy. That's right. He will be Thanos again.
Oh, for
whenever they need Thanos.
The Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
I guess so. And
whenever they do the Infinity Gauntlet?
They're doing they're calling it the Infinity War.
Okay.
It comes out in like 2018 or something like that. But yeah,
is that basically the climax of all of these films?
I would hope so and imagine so, but I'm not 100% sure. Because James Gunn, the guy who directs the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, is being very cagey about whether the Guardians will ever cross over with the Avengers. He keeps saying sort of contradictory things about that.
Well, who directed the new Avengers that comes out this year?
Joss Whedon is doing the one that comes out in about 5 months. That's the Avengers Age of Ultron.
Am I gonna go and be like shunned by half of our fans if I say that I've never been like a Joss Whedonite?
I don't think so. It probably depends on, and I have no idea what the demographics break down. It probably depends on female listeners versus male listeners. I would say.
Guess so. Basically, I think the folks will be okay.
I think folks will be okay. There are some Whedonites who are male who are like hardcore that I know, but most of the hardcore Whedon fans I know are female.
Because like I think it's
the ones who would be kind of like defensively like, how dare you say anything against Joss Whedon?
Like Buffy. That's the biggie.
Yeah, Buffy.
What other thing? Like he did that. He did
Dollhouse.
Was that the one with Eliza Dushku?
Yes.
Which is the best / worst name ever.
Yes. And he did Firefly.
Okay, I've never seen Firefly, so maybe if I watch that and people are going to be like, what the fuck, you haven't seen fucking Firefly?
I've seen like 2 episodes of Firefly.
And were you not impressed?
No, it was just one of those things that like I think I started watching on a winter or summer break, but towards the end of a winter or summer break, and then I just ran out of time and I never watched the rest of it.
Womp womp.
People are surprised when they hear me say that because my daughter Kaylee's name is spelled the same way as Kaylee, one of the characters on the show. It's not it's becoming a more common spelling, but at the time when Kaylee was born in 2006, people were like, "Oh, you must be a huge Firefly."
Could you give more information about your daughter on the podcast right now?
She has.
Stop it! No,
she has a tooth that's growing in behind another tooth that refuses to come out.
Oh, cool!
You asked for more. Oh, you were being sarcastic.
Oh yeah. So let me go back to Canada. Because we were there.
John
and I went to the Peel Pub. He got a very weak Long Island, and I'm like, why are you? This is like a sports pub. Why just drink beer? And he's like, I don't like beer or whatever. So we kept on getting mixed drinks that were not so
mixed.
The
results of which were mixed.
Yeah.
Oh
my god, you made a joke. So yeah, we we went there, and then we went to a place called Funzo, Foonzo.
This was he told me a little bit about the trip. Was this an arcade?
It
sounds like an arcade.
It was supposed to be an arcade, and that's what I thought it was going to be. But it was more of a place where you could go and play like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis, N64 games.
So it was like a dude's basement.
It was a basement. It was in the basement of this building.
Did it smell like socks?
No.
Right.
But
was there a big table that had a big Lego structure on it?
No, this was not Paul's basement. It had a bar, which was cool. They actually had One Piece comics or
at the bar.
The comic pages. Like you know what, like when sometimes they look at a bar and they have like it's finished.
Yeah,
and so underneath the finish, they're. But it looked like it was like in there for realsies, not like just a piece of paper.
Huh.
So I don't know how the hell they did that, but there was definitely One Piece comic pages from the Baratier saga, which is very early on in the series. So if you're interested, check it out, and you'll be like, "Oh, I know what he's talking about."
I know what he's talking about.
Or Brian will be like, "Oh, he's talking about things that I know about." But yeah, we went there and we just had a drink because we were like, we don't want to fucking play Nintendo.
Like we could do this at our house.
I'd rather go to an arcade where like I can play things that I can't play at home. I mean, isn't that the whole draw of an arcade?
I think so. That was why I was so weirded out. For one of the first things we did when John came back for the holidays, we went to Fun World in good old Nashua, New Hampshire.
I was there last night.
And like they have a Fruit Ninja game, and it's basically just like a giant touch screen. And it's like, what the fuck is the point? I played it.
Well, it's a ticket game, right?
It is a ticket game.
Okay, well, you just
they had a cut the rope game. Like if I want to play cut the rope or Fruit Ninja, I can play it on my fucking phone.
I went there last night because I was I made plans with a friend that I hadn't seen in a while.
Yeah,
and so we just met in Nashua. And I'm like, oh, let's go to Fun World. I think they have like several pinball machines, and they did.
Yeah.
And none of which were in good working order.
Yeah. They had a Wizard of Oz one that I played.
Yeah, that wasn't on the top floor with the rest of them.
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz one's okay. The company that makes that one is making a Hobbit one.
Okay, cool.
So that should be coming out soon now that all 3 of the Hobbit films have been released.
They have.
And I went and it was like. And then they had an Austin Powers pinball machine.
I think I saw that one.
It was like I played it a little bit. It was so they had the volume up so fucking loud on it. Every other machine was fine except for that one.
Except that one.
It was just the top volume on that. And I'm like, dude, seriously, this is so annoying.
Well,
and the dot
everyone
matrix
loves Austin Powers and its catchphrases.
The dot matrix screen was all screwed up. You couldn't even tell what your score was.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
I was just like, what the fuck is this nonsense?
So back to Canada. You went.
Oh yeah. Sorry, we went to
that's my fault.
Went to Funzo.
Yeah,
and it was all right. The girl, her English was very very good. She grew up like right near the border on the Canadian side, and she used to go into the States all the time when she was younger, which doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, why would you come to America?
Yeah, you got Canada.
You can drink up in your neck of the woods. You can't in ours.
Yeah, our neck of the woods is just woods.
Yeah, I mean up there.
Well, up there,
yeah. Up there in northern New Hampshire or northern Vermont, yeah.
Just woods.
So yeah, she was cool. And then we went to it was like some sort of arcade 2000, and then they had some pinball there because I'm nuts. That's all I freaking do. I'm not even that good. I'm not that good at pinball.
Just like it.
I remember like back in the I think I said this at the on the New Sweethearts episode, but after the New Sweethearts broke up, I was going to do a solo project, and it was going to, like, the album that I was going to put out was going to be called I Suck at Pinball.
Yes, you did mention that.
And I've gotten better. I don't quite suck anymore. I'm okay, but I'm not good.
Well, I'm okay at pinball is not quite as catchy as I suck at
I should
pinball.
just still call it I Suck at Pinball.
Yep. I agree.
Even though I've always wanted to be really good at it.
Yeah. I like the idea of pinball, but I really do suck at it, and I'll still try at least once per time that I'm in an arcade that has pinball, but I usually regret it because I'm failing pretty quickly and all 3 balls are gone. And I have a problem about balls and my balls being gone.
What?
So what else did you do in Canada?
Well, after that, we were just walking back towards the hotel.
Yeah.
And I thought we were going to go the second night to go to the strip club because, you know, that was, you know. But I saw him like, oh, there's downtown. I heard good things, and it was actually on Yelp.
you looked up.
I looked up.
I'm just trying to imagine. Like, I didn't think about there being strip clubs on Yelp.
They are.
I imagine that there were like separate websites that you went to go find out. I imagine this. I never looked up myself to find out about strip clubs. But you find out about them on Yelp.
Yeah. Well, I did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I went on Yelp and I just typed in strip clubs Montreal, and then that was one of the top ones. And actually, the other one that was pretty high, but that was closer. It was closer to our hotel. It was Club Cleopatra, which was probably about a block away.
Yeah.
From where our hotel was. So that was the close one, but we didn't go to that one. But we went to downtown. It was called Downtown.
Yeah.
And like they have like the guy outside.
Yeah.
Who was basically the carnival barker trying to get you to come in.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, and
hey, I've been in New Orleans. I know what you're talking about.
I'm trying to do my French accent. It'll probably end up sounding like some other.
Well,
accent.
give it a whirl. I think you got to give it a whirl.
Okay, so he was like, "Oh, come on in, guys. This all the hottest pussy in Montreal."
Did sound remarkably like the guy I met in New Orleans. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well,
yeah.
you know, they have the
they got a shared history.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I'm like, but that he started saying that to us when like we were already kind of like decided that we were because we were like we're kind of making our way in. And I'm like, dude, you don't need to.
Like
we're good.
We're going in.
Yeah, so we went in and it was we sat down at the bar because John just said let's sit at the bar.
Yeah,
which was a mistake. Because it's like it's very inconvenient for looking at the stage,
looking at the entertainment.
It's easy for getting drinks
right.
that are really expensive.
Yeah,
which I spent a lot of money on, and probably shouldn't have because I was already getting pretty hammered at that time, anyways. Right. Because I drank a pitcher to myself at Peel Pub.
All right.
And so yeah, I was getting pretty hammered, and I was just getting sad. Because
alcohol is a depressant.
Yeah, that's why it's a really good idea that I'm drinking
right now.
So I just we had an okay time. We got a couple dances, and there was like when the private dance little area.
Yeah,
we didn't get to champagne room or whatever the fuck. I don't even know if that was even an option.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had like a sign up, but it was like a bunch of pictographs of things that you were okay to do, and things that you were not okay to do.
Okay, pictographs, but this was not Cleopatra's.
This was at Downtown.
I used to pictographs. I started.
Wasn't that a term for any like?
No, you're right.
Representation.
You're absolutely right. I just started thinking of like some Egyptian
magician.
Yeah. So there are pictographs of what you can
and can't do, and there's you can touch the girls at this place.
Okay,
but there's places you're okay to touch them, and then it kind of like shows you where it's okay,
right?
And then also it says don't jam your hand into their lady parts.
Oh, God.
Basically, in the little picture.
It's just like, do you need to be told not to jam? I'm sorry, like, it's civilization. Like, if you need to be told not to jam your hand into the lady bits, like, you just shouldn't.
Well, I don't know.
Be allowed.
There might be a lot of drunk idiots in the world, and some Americans that are not used to the fact that you can put your hands on the lady,
right?
In a nice way, not in the way that they're okay with,
right?
That there's an understanding that this is what's going to happen,
yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah.
And so my favorite was the one for don't lick their nipples was. Was the Rolling Stones little insignia?
Yeah,
with the tongue
and
like right next to a breast.
Did it have like the circle around
the circle
it?
Around it? No,
yeah,
you couldn't do that one.
Do not lick the nipples. Okay.
And then I think after we were leaving, John had went outside already, and I think I went to take a leak before we left. And I went out, and he was talking to the carnival barker guy a little bit, and he's like, "Oh, you had a good time, eh?" And then whatever. And then some other guy was trying to. He's like, come over across the street. We can get rub and tug.
Wait, you can get what?
Rub and tug. Because there was like a massage place.
It was a massage parlor
on the opposite block.
I have always wanted,
you've always wanted to get a rub and tug?
No, I have not always wanted to get a rub and tug. But I have always wondered, since hearing the terrible Chris Rock song, No Sex in the Champagne Room, or whatever it was called, which maybe isn't that terrible.
I thought he just had a bit.
It was like a bit, but it had music to it. It was during that period of comedy albums where you had like your whole album, but you also had to have like a quote unquote song,
like Dennis Leary's
Asshole, which was a good one, I think.
But apparently, like back in the day, Louis C.K. said that Dennis Leary ripped a lot of that off from him.
Oh, really?
I don't know if that's true. Well, allegedly.
I had heard that Leary ripped a lot of stuff off from Bill Hicks. That's what I always remember.
Who, Dennis Leary?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen a bunch of Bill Hicks stuff, and the thing is, I haven't recently seen a lot of Dennis Leary stuff. So it's
what I always wondered. And this is was what okay. So there's no sex in the champagne room, according to Chris Rock. But what is the champagne room above and beyond what is happening in the private room, right? I've been in clubs where I've had dances out on the floor, right? And I've been in those clubs where I've also had dances off in some sort of private room,
which is the same.
Which is basically the same.
Only you have more privacy, but you're still unless you're downtown, not supposed to touch them,
right? And so one time I was in New Orleans, and I had a private dance, right? And there was a lot more contact. It seemed like there was a lot more contact there than there was on the floor. But part of what she was doing was trying to upsell into the private room. Yeah. And I was just like,
the more private room.
The more private room. So what is the more private room?
Well, what we need to do is get.
I don't want to know now.
We need to fall into some cash, and I'll do this experiment for you. And I'll
I live vicariously through you.
I will find out that it's the exact same thing, only for more money.
Only for more money.
Yeah. But yeah, I believe that is Chris Rock's point.
Yeah, it's just that you're paying more and more to get to more and more secluded places.
To more and more blue balls.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, that was fun. And then I spent the rest of the next day hungover. John went on a hike. I slept. I couldn't. I mean, this is really hard to say in Canada. I could not, for the life of me, find a goddamn Tim Hortons to get breakfast at.
You would think there'd be one.
I just kept on walking in the wrong direction, and I eventually found one at a mobile station. Or was it a mobile? Yeah, I think it was a mobile station. Yeah.
That also had a rub and tug in the back.
Yeah, it was like there's a massage place,
mobile station, Tim Hortons.
Yeah,
take care of all your needs.
I got my egg sandwich with lettuce and tomato on it.
Oh, I'm trying to imagine the place that happens where there's the rub and tug at the same place as your donuts.
What is it? I remember, and I'm talking about another radio show here, but I remember one of my favorite bits that Opie and Anthony had, or well, not a bit, but they had this intern, and his name was David. Okay. And he was very, very Jewish. Yeah. And he, they would get him to, they made it he was not so good of an intern, but he was great on the air, kind of. Okay. Yeah. Because he would say ridiculous things, and they'd get him all super embarrassed. But one of my favorite bits that they did was, I forget, I think it might have been D.L. Hughley was on. Okay. Yeah. And I guess, David had never, been with the lady or whatever, so they were like, we'll take him down to get him a rub and tug in somewhere in Manhattan. Yeah. And they did. Uh-huh. And he did, and he
just the idea.
He was so embarrassed.
It seems really strange. It just seems really strange to me. That idea. I don't know.
It's funny because I haven't listened too much recently because I canceled Sirius, but he apparently works at the 9/11 memorial now,
Oh,
and so if
intern does?
yeah, but now he that's his job.
Yeah.
Like I think he's a tour guide or whatever.
Yeah.
But like O&A fans have gone down there and they've seen him and like they could totally tell it's him because like that's I'm like, oh my god, his name is it says David.
Yeah.
And he's talking the exact same way and they're like, you know,
Right.
like dude for O&A and he'll just run away.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I don't want to be involved
yeah.
with these idiots again because. But there was, oh my god, there was this. They had a porn star on once.
Just once.
Well, no, this particular time, and she was just pretending to be a regular, you know, person that was coming in, and she was like, you know, fooling around with David a bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, like you know. Like you do.
As you do. Yeah.
And then they got one of the fans that was sitting. They used to have like bleachers and like they had people watching the show live.
Yeah.
They had one of the fans come in and like rip in and like go like, "What the fuck are you doing to my wife?" And David almost shit his pants.
I really enjoyed listening to them for quite a while there when they were on BCN in the after. I mean, I never had a Sirius or XM subscription, so when they and Howard both moved off to their respective then eventual same companies, I just I didn't keep up, but yeah, they were a hoot. Cool.
What else do we got on the?
We did not again talk about the Macho Man D&D track.
That's fine. We could talk about it. Like
we didn't talk about
maybe
it.
you can play it at the end. Play it at the very end of the show.
Okay.
Because I gave it to you.
You gave it to me. We've had this on the list for a while. So tell me about Macho Man.
Okay, so I think I might have brought it up briefly before, but it was we had this. I don't have the game itself anymore, but I kept the CD. It was Advanced Dungeons and Dragons First Quest. It was basically like an introduction to playing Dungeons and Dragons, and so like they had like a little quest that if you were playing as the dungeon master, you could just set out for people, and there was pre-made characters and whatnot, and you got the right amount of people, you would go. And like they had all these audio tracks that would go along with it that were on a CD. Yeah. So like when you get to a certain point, I'm skipping to track 8 or something like that. Yeah. I'm like, this is happening now, and everybody's like, yay! Right. I think we played it once, and it was like, eh. But the one track, I don't think we got there, but like we were just skipping through and listening to the tracks after we were done that particular day, and then we're like, I think one of them was like Bone Gnasher or something. The Ogre was the name of the track. Yeah. And then it's just like it starts and like you're listening to this ogre telling like his wolf kin or whatever to attack the people that are showing up, and you could totally tell that it was Macho Man Randy Savage because eventually he does go, ooh yeah,
which is just what people do at the rub and tugs. Yeah.
Silence! Who dares disturb Bone Gnasher the Ogre's den of death and destruction? A bunch of puny humans?
Watch out for the wolves!
Oh yeah! Destroy them, Predator! Devour them, Crusher! Rip them to pieces! It's chow time!